Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about Python dunder methods for network automation. What are dunder or magic methods? Dunder methods are special methods in Python that starts and end with double underscores like dunder init, dunder stir, dunder len, etc. And the reason we need them is because they let us customize how objects of our class behave with built-in Python functions like print, len, stir, wrapper, or even make objects act like functions with dunder call. Without these, Python falls back to default behavior inherited from the base object class. Okay, so if you don't have these, you will have these errors. Or in the case of dunderstir and wrapper, you will have this name, which is not really understandable or not really readable for beginners. And dunderlen, you will have, and if you don't have the dunderlen, you will have the type error. And if you don't have the dunder call, you will have the type error as well, not callable by default. Okay, let's look at code here. So here I'm importing the connect handler class from the Netmiko, and I have created a class here named network device, and I have a dunder init. So this is how I define the attributes, right? Okay, and here I have the dunder call. So like I said, this makes the object callable like a function. What this method or function does is runs a command. Okay, and I have the regular method for comparison because I wanted to show you what happens if you have the dunder call and when you don't. Okay, if I scroll down here, I'm creating an object instance of the class. So this is the instance, and I'm assigning it to a variable called Cisco. So here, this is an example of the dunder call and with the dunder call method. Okay, so let me go ahead and run this code and see what happens. So Python, yeah, so this should work. So you see here, this is the print statement. We go up, call example with dunder call, right? And this is the output of the show version command that we have here. Okay, this is the variable and this is the actual command. Okay, so let me comment out this line of code and I'm going to uncomment this. So this is a regular method for comparison. So if I now run the code again, yeah, you will have this error that says network device object is not callable. This is because we don't have the dunder call. So we are using this method called run command. So we don't have that. We can't basically run this line here. Okay, so we need to use this line of code. So let me run the code again. This should work now. So without call, using normal method. So this is how you call the object, run the object. So in this example, it runs like a function. In here, you have to call the method explicitly. So the name of the object, which is Cisco, and .run command, this is the method. And we passed in the command show version. So it ran, it ran successfully, right? So let me comment out this, and I'm going to use the dunder call because it's the same thing. And now we can move to the dunder stir. So let's see what happens if we don't have its comment out here. We are not using the dunder stir. See what happens. Let me clear the screen. Yeah, so we have this output, which is the default representation of the object. Okay, so if I go ahead and uncomment this line of code, we should have a different output. Yeah, this is the output. So it's the name of the router or route server and its IP address. This output is because of this host name and IP. Okay, and we can also use this line of code to basically bypass the dunder stir. Let me run it and show you what happens. Yeah, so we're not getting the stir output, we are getting the default output from the base object. Okay, so it's like we don't have the dunder stir in the code. Okay, let me comment out that code. And next is the dunder wrapper. I'm going to also uncomment that line of code and run the script. Yeah, so here, this is another way to have a readable name for your object. So here, this is the name of the class, network device, and the host name and the IP address. Okay, and the next line of code is, this is to show us what happens if you don't have, or even if you have the wrapper line or the dunder wrapper in your code, and still you will have this name. Okay, let me go ahead and run it. Yeah, so without wrapper, so it's like I said, this is just to show you that you don't have the dunder wrapper in your code. So hopefully that's clear. Last but not least is the dunder LAN. Let me comment this line of code and comment this line of code and run this script. Yeah, so here we do have the dunder LAN, and we can use the built-in LAN function, and it gives us the length of the host name. So it's 26. So let's see what happens if we don't have the dunder LAN in our code. And uncomment this line of code and run the script. Yeah, so it gives us an error, and it says object of type dunder, network device has no LAN. So this is because we don't have the dunder LAN in our code. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover in this video. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.